we want to get that going, and Smash JT is on a ticking time bomb before he gets divorced. So let's just talk about it and bring up this letter.
I'm trying to balance everything in life right now. It's hard, man. It's hard,
brother. That's not easy stuff. All right, so just a little bit of context for those of you in the chat. I'm sure all of you know by now, and if you don't, then I wonder, do you even watch us at this point?
Real quick, Hypno, before you even get started, this is the edited letter that Alyssa was really preaching to her audience, that I edited this letter before I went live with it.
Yeah, you edited out your docs, which is what
I edited out my
trying
docs.
to push out there is your docs. I went through, because you sent me the original. I went through and redacted that out. It's like, yeah, that's what a reasonable person would redact. But she's just salty that she's just really salty about the Kiwi Farms and all. They put that on her, so she's trying to, in a weird way of vengeance.
But this is how she works, though. It's pure manipulation, where she doesn't tell. It's what she did with the Sweet Baby Ink story. It's what she did with the Booth Bouncing story. She leaves out critical information to try to be partial to a story to make people think a certain way. So she says something that sounds really terrible, like he changed this letter before he went live with it. It's like, well, technically I did. I took my address off of it. So yes, I did change the letter.
Do you think she was hoping? Do you think she was hoping when she sent this letter that she knew you were going to react to it and make a video out of it? Did she think you were stupid enough to like just go straight to the reaction and not remove your own information? Like, does she really think you're that retarded? I really don't know.
Because she's that retarded. She would.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. She seems that retarded. Like
I think you give her too much credit for thinking ahead so far. I don't.
Yeah,
think she's not that ahead. I think
all of us have given her a little bit more credit than she's really as fucking stupid as we can think.
She is stupid enough to go all the way with this, which would completely ruin her. I've had.
How do you ruin something that isn't even like?
As long as you're still breathing, Smash, you can get ruined. Mercante is
she's going to find out if she keeps going. Like,
I like how everybody has normalized calling her Mercante. It's just fucking great, by the way.
Yeah. Mercante is great.
We started that,
I was saying in the chat.
It's just my Asian accent coming through. Mercante, it's just.
Well, speaking of doxing,
I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Speaking of doxing, that lawyer, you went through his X pages or posts, and you see that he's talking about going to people's doors and
that was wild.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact about this lawyer, according to my good friend Sean, potentially criminal, who hit me up about these facts. This is one of the same lawyers that tried to copyright, I think, his photos in order to stop the Kiwi Farms from posting them.
He tried to copyright a picture?
Yes, his own photos in order to stop the Kiwi Farms from posting them.
Could you imagine the precedent that would set if that got approved? Like that would
exactly.
The whole internet would be censored beyond belief.
Does this guy know?
They imagine the laws on their side with whatever they make up in their head, and they have no idea what it actually is.
Does he not know how the internet works? Like it's like you put it out there.
That if you don't want to be on Kiwi Farms, don't be a lol cow, and definitely don't try to copyright something.
Here's
mind you, these guys have actually already filed, or they already sent a cease and desist to Kiwi Farms. But according to from what I heard from them and their attorney, they said that the cease and desist was, and I quote, "so gay they aren't even going to waste time on it." That's a quote. That's a quote from a lawyer.
That is Kiwi Farms to a key, man.
That was actually to be fair, from my perspective, I sat on this letter for 2 weeks thinking about, do I want to even give her the attention that she so desires?
Yes.
Like that was one of the biggest things. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna, because I need to expose her ass to everyone and let everyone know this is who I'm dealing with. Like that was what I came to. And I understand by exposing this letter, it is going to give her more attention, which ultimately is her goal. But I feel like it's necessary. It's a necessary evil to do it.
I got a question for you, brother. When's the last time you made a video on Alyssa Mercante prior to this?
It legit has been over a month.
Yep.
Yeah, same here.
Really,
that was like a month before that too. Like, because she's been irrelevant for so long. There's been nothing to talk about with her.
Daddy is not giving her enough attention, so she had to, go run off and tattletale.
But apparently, according to her and her lawyer, I have to keep talking about her because those are where the views are. I'm like,
that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was saying in the chat with you earlier, is that I like how you were genuinely being nice about this, and she does not understand that you really are being like, I am being so kind to you by not royally fucking you immediately. I feel like me or Hypno would have like gone for the jugular immediately. Yeah. But like, definitely. I wanted to ask if she just dropped this out of nowhere, could you sue her for everything she's done now? Like, if you wanted to?
I mean, there's like Legal Minds. I was saying, anyone can sue anyone for anything. It doesn't.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
so technically,
have any type of chance.
Is it worth it? Probably no. Just in my humble opinion. I mean, as funny as it would be, like as great as it would be to laugh about it, like realistically, it's not worth it when there's two public figures trying to sue each other, because the standard for public figures is very high. It's very high to prove what they cited in their own legal letter, which we're going to see here when it's pulled up. Even they cite that the standard is actual malice, which means the person has to say something knowing what they're saying is false and saying it anyway. So they have to know, like, I know 100% for certain that this is false, and and I'm going to say it anyways, knowing that it's false. That makes it malicious.
That's the caveat, right?
When I was watching the stream, really hard.
This is a slap case, though, right? Isn't there a slap thing that's supposed to stop you from suing people?
Anti-slap. Mm-hmm. So yes, there's an anti-slap statute, which means a statute that protects against SLAP. SLAP stands for Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation. Essentially, a strategic lawsuit against public participation is any lawsuit that is intended to silence people's First Amendment rights. So it's intended to keep people from speaking, keep people from exercising their First Amendment rights. How that works procedurally is the first motion when you go to court, even before a motion to dismiss, is a special motion, a SLAP motion, to just dismiss it outright. And if it was brought in bad faith, they have to pay the bill, which is exactly what our good boy Ronnie talks about in his letter.
His letter was so good.
Very
not to jump ahead too, but that's kind of the point where I'm at with this. Right. Unless she does something really outrageous or egregious, I don't have any plans to keep going at her. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, and I said this in my video, like straight up, if she proceeds with this, she is going to be completely screwed. And I'm trying to let her know that as kindly as I can. This is not a good idea what she's doing. Yeah. And I don't know how else to tell her that.
Yeah.
Hey, Legal Mindset.
But the problem that I'm having too.
$2.
I'll give him one Shirley Temple and 3 cents. He better settle at that.
But just real quick too, just to like quell everyone telling me I need to sue her. I'm like, no, because that at this point is not the best move for me. The best move for me is to wait, and if she does something, then I will have all the power and authority to completely destroy her. But at this point,
let her hang herself.
100% strategically, that's what you want to do. Everybody who says run out there and sue is actually an idiot, right? And a lot of the folks that even the litigators, what they don't tell you is that suits are not common because they're expensive, because lawyers are assholes, because things drag on, and nobody ever gets entirely what they want, right? Nobody ever gets it all except for the lawyer who makes his bill. Right. So it's better off for everybody if there isn't a suit and everyone just goes on making content. Right. That's better. That's the best situation for everybody in almost all situations. Right. Because she doesn't want discovery. She doesn't want to be deposed. Can you imagine her being sat in a room and saying, so, Miss Mercante, exactly how many dicks did you say?
What did you mean when you said that you got into gaming by sucking dicks?
Was
it a baker's dozen of dicks? You know, like these are questions
she would have the number.
That's what makes this comment funny, because it's like sucking 20 dicks in a row. And I could just imagine, she would be in that office, be like, excuse me, sir, it wasn't 20. It was 21. All right. Like she's that kind of person.
Well, I don't know if you count Asians as a whole one or what, but
I only stuck one halfway, okay? And he was only 3 inches big, so it only counts as 1/3.
21 and a half.
Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing, you know?
This is a Wiimote. Did you stick it up your ass for $50?
Is that? I keep people keep telling me that. Is that like something she
That's
actually
a real
said?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a real
thing.
thing that I pointed out.
Wait, what's a real
to
thing?
Will.
She said in a tweet a while ago, I'll shove a Wiimote up my ass for $50.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
God. So, all right. So let's just talk about the letter really quick.
And real quick, Hypno.
God damn it, Smash. Go ahead.
I know. Sorry, I'm the one that's going to leave early, and I'm the one dragging it on.
You're the one we're drifting off of.
I think
it's yours, not mine.
I know, right? I think it's comical how they start the letter off focusing on the dick thing, and I'm like,
The dick thing. I don't know why.
I do love how it's a legal.
This is a literal statement. They do
dicks.
start
I'm like
talking
a
about the
fucking
dick.
child, bro. Like, why did that make me laugh like that? Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But like, the greater point is, like, I say a lot of like stupid shit on Twitter. I say whatever's on my mind on Twitter within reason, without going to the whatever the stuff that side does of things. I try to do it in jest, and I'm like, okay, this girl wants to dance. She's proactively talking about how she sucks dicks. So that opens up for me. I can go there with her. If she acted far more professional, I would not say that to her. That's the thing. So it kind of paints me in the light of, oh, I'm the asshole for going there. I'm like, well, no, I communicate to you how you present yourself to me. If you're going to be professional, I'll be professional right back with you. Like, that's kind of, I'll give you the what you have earned.
Benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, Smash, actually, that kind of brings up an interesting point, because I was noticing in this letter, they talk about professionalism and whatnot. And the entire time I'm thinking, defined. I gotta think about this, right? Because what is the definition of professional for someone like Alyssa Mercante versus someone like yourself, for example? Because they have to be drastically different, right? Because this person who is claiming to be professional is the same person who is not only antagonizing people on Twitter, telling people to fight her physically, which means in person in real life, which means her safety is not, regarded in that manner. But also, too, this is the person who's running around in public taking ass pictures with strangers in Brooklyn. Like, so at what point do we define professionalism?
According to her tweets, she also does coke. Like, she does lines of
and
coke.
It doesn't make you a cokehead.
No,
Right?
it does not make you a cokehead. Just doing coke does not make you a cokehead.
I think you're misusing.
She's going to drink that much alcohol and not get drunk. She's got to be on something.
I think you're getting confused with the word professional, like in the work sense, but like she's more like the professional, like street sense.
Yeah.
Well, what does that
like
mean?
Leon the professional?
Difference. There's a big difference in definition.
Like, you hire off of a certain website.
Yeah. So I just found that whole thing to be super, super ironic, because then it becomes a point of like, all right, so you're calling yourself a professional, but you're acting like that. I don't think most people who are actual professionals would call you a professional.
I think the problem is we are rational.
The people around her would, though. That's the issue.
That is a problem.
But we are rational people. If you're going to be doing lines of coke or drinking to excess, or your brain just misfires, we cannot put them on the same level of thought as we are, because they clearly aren't, because they become irrational. And this is the result of that. It's something like this, where it's just like, this is, your brain is misfiring and you are trying to justify it. And this ain't it, Chief. This is,
you can't always assume that someone's acting rationally, because
you've got an unhinged client with an unhinged legal team. Of course, they're going to produce 5 pages of unhinged legalese nonsense.
And she's watching this with like a notebook and a pencil, like writing down everything I say. She's like,
it sounds like a high schooler trying to do a legal letter.
So I got a question for the panel. What do you think she paid this lawyer, or he's doing it for free because he's an activist too?
Pay.
In money or in
depends what you mean by payment, doesn't it?
Yeah, pay.
Well, I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just saying.
No lawyer's working for free. So there's some form of compensation that was exchanged, but I would never dare insinuate that she was exchanging services for this. I would never dare insinuate, but there was something of value.
Actions speak louder than words, legal minds.
Ryan's begging for a C&D.
With that.
Ryan is begging for a C&D. He's like, send
pro
us
bono. No pro bono.
Pro bono. I mean,
you should do it. You could use the paper to patch his house.
So what's the goal
again,
here?
It wouldn't be subject. None of this would come out, and this is something that happens with a lot of people that cell phone them, that just have cell phones, because none of this would come out. None of these questions would be out there unless she sent that letter. Because here's the thing. Now, I can talk about whether or not she is a sex worker, and that's not defamation, because I'm just entertaining a legal discussion as to whether or not what is sex work. For example, I don't know much about her, and you guys probably can give me more of the background on some of the behaviors she had. But I even said this. I said, look, she's admitted to having a sex blog which was monetized. That is a form of working, right? You are monetizing a blog about sex. That is sex work. So just based on that alone, just having a monetized sex blog, that is a definition of a sex worker, right? And reasonable minds can differ about that. That alone defeats all of the statements that she's going to throw up here, all the harassment, everything else. And not only that, allows all of us to talk about it, get millions of views on it, and it not be defamation. So she just really owned herself on that. If she didn't send this letter, she probably wouldn't get half as many views as she thought about her illicit sexual background.